Did Leon Edwards put on a masterclass, or was Colby old and slow? Hey, what's up, fight nerds? This is your boy Gashan. I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. Today we're talking about UFC 296, which as of right now happened last night, or about a night and some change, right? What are we going to talk about? The main event, parts of the co-main, and some honorable mentions when it comes to the matches that were in the prelims, some of the main card, and what those matches really mean going forward into the new year. Let's get to it. First and foremost, I want to talk about two matches that were definitely exciting for the fans, but they ended in the complete wrong decision. Which ones are we talking about right now? Rosa and Irene Aldana. That's the first one. Very visually exciting match, especially for a lot of casuals who just want to see people knock each other's face off. But also something that I want to really point out that was really good about that match is the fact that Carol, every time Irene just left her leg out there, she always made sure to capitalize on it. She would start with a combo and inside of the leg, outside, inside, outside. That's something that everyone should absolutely pay attention to. If someone's gonna leave their leg there, kill it. Just keep on going until they decide to check it or get it out the way. And for some reason, Aldana's corner didn't choose to address that. I'm starting to think her corner's suspect because they gave her really weird advice when she fought Nunes as well. But here's why I said, just to kind of get to it, here's why I said that it was a bad decision. I want you to look at these per round scoring as far as striking. This remained on its feet pretty much the entire match, right? So this is all about striking. Who's got the largest striking totals? Not only in percentage, but in sheer number. Rosa, right? How didn't she win? Oh, because her eye was closed up? All right, but what about Aldana's leg looking like it was going in reverse? Now, funny enough, while we were watching this, my friend Jonathan said, oh, she's going to win because of that visual damage. I didn't believe it because I'm like, if you're looking at just how many strikes are being landed by Carol, you know it. You can visually see that it was literally slanting in her way, and the numbers prove it. But she still lost because I guess the judges just saw her face and went, well, that's got to be it. That's terrible, especially by their metrics. It's terrible. She should have won that fight. Second would actually be Minifield and Jacoby. Once again, except for the takedown that they credited Minifield for in the third round, this remained largely standing up, and the numbers support Jacoby winning. But I guess because there was that time where Minifield punched him clear across the octagon, they were like, oh my God, he won. That has to be what happened. The judges just saw that and said, everything that happened other than this is a lie, right? They must have done that. It's weird because the numbers, once again, don't support it. They gave it to him, and when me and my friends were watching this, we're like, this doesn't make any damn sense. Like, they were just going by their feelings and not really what was going on. And that's something that most likely can happen in a lot more higher stake matches. Imagine if there was a title on the line, which I don't want to see. I want to see the right people win, and I want to see it backed up by the numbers. And right now, there was a decision, and then it's what the numbers said. And both of those matches, it did not go with it, right? Next, that scary knockout with Josh Emmett and Bryce Mitchell. Obviously, Bryce Mitchell stepping in last minute. And look, Josh Emmett's got quite a bit of power. Went right in with that overhand right. And it was kind of scary, especially when you saw... Oh, damn, you hear that win? Especially when you see Bryce convulsing, because obviously the brain was doing one thing and the body wanted to do another. That's something that you see a lot when it comes to people getting knocked out. People might even see that when it comes to these street fight videos. But whatever. It was a good win for Josh Emmett, and he was coming off of, I think, 8 loss, or was it a couple losses, or was it just a loss? I think it was just one loss. I could be mistaken here, but he said he was having a rough year. This is a good way for him to end. He's also an older guy, so something like this is really good for his confidence, right? I'm not sure how he stacks up with the rest of the division, especially someone like Volkanovski, or these people who can actually move their feet. I think he's going to have a hard time with them, but hey, good luck to him regardless. When it came to the co-main event with Pantoja and Royval, I thought Royval was just way too conservative. He actually should have been piecing him up the way he was in round 5. Had he took the fight like that, he definitely would have made it much more of a challenge when it came to the decision making. But he thought that he was too overzealous in the first fight, which is why he decided to be a little bit more. Well, actually, from what I heard, didn't he say the opposite? Wasn't he like, he felt like he tried to rush the finish in the first one. And yeah, exactly. So I think that's why he was a little bit more reserved. But this was too reserved. Because on the feet, Pantoja didn't really want it with him, especially because he kept getting caught at the end of all his punches, right? So, with that being said, it was kind of bad Royval, but still really good Pantoja, because when he took him down, and those, by the way, those interactions with them when they were rolling and looking at how good defensively Royval was and how he didn't accept any position that he was put in, beautiful. Like, that was beautiful to watch. And it just sucked because at the end of the match, obviously, I thought it was the right decision, obviously, to give it to Pantoja. Like, it was clearly very dominant on one side because there wasn't enough activity and on Royval's side, and Pantoja was being very active when it came to the takedowns and being more dominating on that side. So good for him. Right decision there. But it sucks that even Pantoja thought that fight was boring. It wasn't boring. It was a very, very technical, mostly grappling match. But once again, a lot of the fans just want to see someone's face go fly up into the stands somewhere. That's really what they want to see. But there's more to it than that. And hopefully the general MMA fan gets more and more educated when it comes to that, right? Now, when it comes to the main event, a lot was to be said about Covington and if he should even get the title shot because of how long he was off and how he was getting gifted with this. For me, even though I understood where people were coming from, I felt like this was the best way to keep everything pure, because since he's like number 2, and he's definitely the guy that everybody believes would be champion if not for Kamaru, if Edwards gets him out the way, then it's like you just got rid of the top 2. Now everything else, it's just, the world is your oyster at that point, right? But there was always going to be a large challenge. When we would always talk about this match, me and my friends, how would this go? And we were always like, look, Colby's going to want those grappling exchanges, especially the chain wrestle. He's going to want to make you believe that he's striking and then get to those. And obviously, even though Leon is a very good mixed martial artist, we know that his forte is striking. But when you watch this match, you understand that everything about him always improves. He just looks better and better every match. Leon Edwards really does. And a lot of people were going, well, Colby looks slow. He wasn't doing what he's supposed to. It's one thing to look at Leon on like a video. But when you're standing in front of him, and you're getting 1,000 different feints, and then the stances are switching back and forth. That's a lot of information to try and download all at one time, especially because this wasn't who he's used to fighting. Who are the last 2 people who he fought? He fought Jorge before this, who, even though Jorge had some speed and obviously better in the stand-up, he had already, trained with him so many times, he understood exactly who Jorge was, in and out. He was not scared of him. He knew how to nullify him. Usman, while being a better striker, which isn't that hard when it comes to Colby, is a very different opponent. He wasn't feinting. He wasn't giving too much stuff. He had power. He's a good wrestler. But they were pretty much different versions of each other. And then obviously before that, Tyron and all this. But those are just very different. Leon is someone who not only, as we can see, is an excellent striker. And not excellent in just like for MMA. But in general, his competencies are good. He's defensively sound. He is using feints so many times that he's trying to gather information. He was forcing like Colby to throw out these like defensive like teeps, like get away from me, like doing those type of things, which was excellent. And obviously eating up the legs. Every time there was a bit of an opening with the open stance, he would go with the left hand. It was great. Like there's so many good things that he did. But then the thing that none of us really saw coming was how good he would do in the grappling exchanges, because I think everyone was like, damn, if Colby gets the grappling going, then that's going to be in his court, which I do still believe that he has the grappling, the overall grappling edge as far as just being a wrestler in particular. But in regards to how it translates to, I guess, MMA, and the fact that Leon is so goddamn big, too. When you got that first takedown, nobody thought Leon was going to get back up that quick. And then, even more unexpectedly, for Leon to go for a takedown right after that and get it. And even when he was attacking him, trying to get that triangle, trying to get that arm bar later on in the match, excellent. There was no fear in those exchanges. Now, did he make a mistake in that first one? Yeah, he shouldn't, because he just wanted to stay down. He didn't like just go to those exchanges and just try to get out of it, which a lot of people might consider being the smarter option. I think it still is a smarter option if you know where your bread is buttered, so to speak. However, he wanted to make sure you knew he was a mixed martial artist. And to be honest, if you're training grappling, wrestling, jiu-jitsu in the gym and you don't actually put it into practice in these real scenarios, you're never going to really get better at it. You're just going to be good at training it, if you understand, because it has to be tested in fire. And it was during this. And a lot of people, I kept hearing once again, oh, it was boring, it wasn't a lot of action. Yes, it was. It just wasn't the action you want to see. You want to see a complete war, especially after those comments that were said at the press conference, which I want to get into that in a second. But this is as dominant as it could get. 4-1, because obviously we can give Colby round 5, especially because, Leon was on his back for most of it. But I'm not sure if he would just resign to that position because he already knew, like, I won most of this. But I don't see that being Leon's mindset just based off of everything that was going in to this fight. But yes, he clearly won. And it wasn't just Colby looking slow. When you have all that information to download from someone, you're not going to be able to move the same way. He hasn't been dealing with someone like this. So that's just my opinion when it comes to that. As far as what does this mean for the rest of the division, they were talking about Bilal getting it. I think Bilal should get it, only just to shut him up. Because if you're looking at the last match and look at anything that he's been doing, there's nothing that you see from him that says he's going to give a crazy challenge to him. So just, Leon, go beat him. Right? Just do that. But I think Shavkat is someone he's going to have to look for, because Shavkat's grappling is just different. He's gonna have to train differently for that one. I think that's going to give him some issues, and I'm really looking forward to see him adapt to that as well. But like the Luques and everybody else, I think everybody else matches up very well. And imagine if he even goes against Ian Gary at one point. I think that's also going to be favorable for Leon too. And that's great. I want him to have a dominant welterweight reign, so to speak. But to get on something that's on topic but off topic, when it comes to those type of comments that Colby made about this guy's father dying and using that as like quote unquote trash talk, I'm down for trash talk. Keep it fighting related though, right? Hey, you got knocked out. This is what you do here. You can't do this to me. Being very aggressive about what you think their abilities are and aren't. But keep it relevant to the fighting, right? When you start talking about families, it gets really, really murky. And remember, you're not just... There's also other members of the family who get affected by the things that you say. And to just be like, it's just entertainment. He's just trying to... Listen, that is such like a cop-out for just being a piece of shit, to be honest. Once again, it's not about being nice. You don't have to be kumbaya and hug people. But there's levels to it. And a lot of people, I saw like his other press conference at the end of the match where he says, he's a criminal. Why would I feel bad for him? His father. It's not about you feeling bad for the father. But there's a duality in humans. He could have been that and still been something else for his children. They had a different relationship. So that just shows the lack of respect that you have for Leon, his family, and anybody else who was there. Like, I don't know what they said he was like trafficking. That's what Colby said. I tried to find something to even corroborate that, and I couldn't. I just found that he was a gang member. But regardless, the man is dead, right? Who he was to Leon is different. He was still somebody's father. It's an interesting thing to see Colby say this is part of the character. It's not, because you're still a person who decided to say whatever it is. You could be Trump, whatever. I don't like. Who cares about your political leanings? That's not. I'm not gonna go there with that. That's just dumb. To even be focused on like who he aligns with politically. But when you start going, I can say whatever I want as far as it being a character, irregardless of who it affects beyond the fighter. That just sucks. And listen, he's still a great fighter, but even Leon said at the end of his conference, like, he's a great fighter, he's a terrible human being. And I think that's pretty objective at this point when it comes to that. Except this sucks. That does suck. It does really suck to do. But I'm glad that Leon at least said that how vulnerable he was when he was talking about how he cried in the back and how it was really hard for him to. Because there's one thing if he's like, no, it was easy for me to be able to. No, I think for something like that, because clearly it's affected him. He said like Like, that's something he's been holding on to for a very, 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 very long time. And people don't know that. Like, you don't know what that's been doing to a person psychologically. It's why just keep it here. Just keep it here. Yo, I'm better than him. I think Leon sucks. You know, he did this. Cool. Do that when it comes to the fighting. But why talking about anything else? Stupid. Yeah, I think the next... Oh, hold on. How am I going to forget this? Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis fighting. I'm like, I guess this WWE thing is getting to people's heads. Do I think that was really right? Right. No, just because, you know, they have... Imagine if somebody would have really, really got hurt, like one of them two. They have a main event they got to do next month. That would have put that in jeopardy. That's the only thing. Don't put your money in jeopardy. You literally have a month. Pardon me. You have a month to be able to put your hands on each other. Just wait. Just wait. I told Sean, she's a maniac. No, Sean's a maniac. But don't mess with your money, man. Don't do that. Now I go, yeah, I'm like, don't touch Dricus. Do that, but get paid for it. You understand what I mean? But yeah, that's really all I gotta say. Let me know, what are you looking forward to next in 2024? What matches do you want to see? And what did you really love to see in UFC 296? Until then, into the nerd.